Hey guys, welcome back. We've addressed a lot of different topics here, including self-esteem. Today, how to boost a child's self-esteem. As parents, one of the things that we really want to do is help our children with their own self-esteem, with how they feel about themselves. We've talked about that quite a bit on this channel, actually, and hopefully you've found some of the other videos helpful. There's one in particular that I want you to pay attention to. We'll link to it right up there. When we talked about how to boost self-esteem, that's going to have a lot of the same content that will be relevant for our role as a parent. But let's take a look at how we can specifically help our kids with that. In the other video, I referenced some research that was done by one of my mentors and professors, Dr. Richard Bednar, who did some groundbreaking research on self-esteem. It was published in this book, Self-Esteem, Paradoxes and Innovations in Clinical Theory and Practice. That's a little heady. It's written to psychologists, and it's about all of this research that has been done. Here's the quick summary. What Dr. Bednar and his colleagues found is that self-esteem is not tied to some of the traditional things that we would traditionally associate with self-esteem. Things like accomplishments or compliments that we get from other people or the approval of other folks. It's not about that. What Dr. Bednar and his colleagues found was that self-esteem is tied to seeing ourselves take on challenging things, doing hard things, seeing ourselves do that, as opposed to avoiding it or shying away from it. When we see ourselves running away from a problem, our self-esteem takes a hit. That's pretty important. And the interesting thing about that, it's not tied to the outcomes. In other words, if I'm taking on a problem and I fail, I'm still taking on the problem and my self-esteem will increase. Isn't that interesting? It's not tied to success. It's tied to seeing ourselves face that thing. Now let's apply that to our children. Sometimes we want to protect them, right? So that they don't get into a problem kind of a situation. Well, our kids are going to experience problems. That's a given. It's just going to happen. We can help to boost their self-esteem by actually giving them some challenges, some opportunities to take something on. And as parents, this isn't too hard to come up with because there's already a whole bunch of stuff that we want our kids to take on that they're not already, like chores or homework or some kind of challenge, that's age appropriate for our kids. So step one is to give our children a task or challenge that they can handle. Now let me talk about that for just a minute because their being able to handle it is an important aspect of this. If it's something that they can't handle, then why would we give them that task or challenge? How can we tell? You know what? I like to use the 5K test. The 5K test. It's where you ask yourself, hey, if I were to offer my kid $5,000 to do what I just asked him to do, would he do it? Okay, now, whatever the $5,000 equivalent is for your child, because if you got a 3-year-old, they might not care about money, but they really care about stickers or some kind of little tokens or opportunities. Okay, so translate that in your own mind. What we're trying to do is take the motivation out of the equation and just look at ability, okay? Can they handle it? Do they have the ability to do this? 5K test will help you to determine that. So let's say that you want your kid to take on a project at school or homework or some kind of a chore in the house. Okay, those are all good examples of what we're talking about here. Does your kid want to take on that challenge? No, probably not. They probably want to avoid that thing. But if they avoid the hard things, their self-esteem takes a hit. So we want to encourage them to face it. Let's put a couple more steps up here that will help us to do that. Step 2, I got from Foster Cline and Jim Fay. They're the ones who originated the parenting with love and logic approach. And they have written some great books and have some great tools for parents. And I remember Dr. Fay saying that you should hope at that point that they blow it. What? Blow it? Don't we want our kids to succeed? Yes. How are they going to succeed? If they learn some stuff, right? What have you learned the most from in your life? Think about it. Your mistakes. Why? Because they cost you something. There's always a consequence that enhances your learning. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? So we want our kids to have an experience here that allows them to learn something. And remember, we're talking about self-esteem today. Self-esteem is boosted and enhanced by seeing yourself take something on, regardless of the outcomes. We want our kids to see themselves facing the problems, the challenges that they have. Now, do we want them to succeed? Yeah, ultimately we do. What's going to enhance their success? If they get to have a significant learning opportunity by making a few mistakes or blowing it along the way. So that's why step 2 is there, okay? Totally makes sense. Now, step 3, we're going to let consequences do the teaching. Let the consequences do the teaching. We're not going to bail them out. Remember, part of self-esteem is all about seeing yourself handle hard things, take on challenges, not run away from anything, and that includes not being rescued from the consequences of our own choices. Now, you and I both know as parents, we got these soft hearts, we don't want our little kids to experience any kind of consequences, so we try to swoop in and rescue them. Kind of a hard thing on self-esteem, honestly. From the research, this is what we're learning. We need to allow our children to experience that and to see themselves facing that hard thing, including the consequences. So look at that. We've got 2 opportunities already in this process to face something hard. Okay, a little disclaimer. How hard is it really? It's not that hard, is it? Now, for them, it's a big deal, because they're little, and it's kind of a big deal to pick up my toys. That's hard. Yeah, right. How hard? It's not that hard. And what are the consequences? Well, you're going to build in some consequences that aren't necessarily going to devastate them, right? Because you're a genuine, loving parent. You're not going to do that. But you will select some appropriate consequences and look through the positive parenting playlist here on the channel. We've got a lot of videos in there about different aspects of parenting, and you're going to get a lot of different ideas from those. So all of those resources are there for you to come up with the appropriate consequences. Let them happen so that your child has another opportunity to do the hard thing. We're going to build in one more. Okay? Step 4, we will give the same task again. This is so powerful because the message we're sending here is, you know what? I trust you. You are smart enough, you are brilliant enough, you are bright enough to learn from all of your experiences. And you're really good at facing and doing the hard things. Now, we're not going to say all this. I guess you can if you want to. But what we're communicating to our child is, hey, you've got this. You've got what it takes. Let me share with you 3 messages that we can add to the 4 steps that I've shared with you here. 3 messages as a parent. Number 1, and do I really need to remind you, what is your job as a parent? It's to love them no matter what. And even if, no matter what, and even if that's your job as a parent, it's not to make sure that anything, you don't have that kind of control. It's to love them no matter what and even if. So message number 1, I love you no matter what and even if. Okay, you be loud and you be consistent about that message. Message number 2. If you have any questions, ask. And then I want you to smile just a little, okay? Because when mom's smiling, kids are thinking. It's a pretty good rule of thumb. You're going to convey to them the confidence that they can think this through, that they can learn from their mistakes, that they've got every resource available to them to solve this challenge and take this thing on, including you. If you have any questions, ask. I'm here. I'm a loving, benevolent, generous, wise parent. And if you want to ask me something, I'm here. Ask me. That's message number 2. Message number 3. Good luck. You can say that with a little smile too. Because you know it's going to be hard. Keep it in perspective though. How hard? The problems that your kids are facing right now are teeny compared to the ones that are coming. If we can help them right now to gain the confidence and the self-esteem that's required to continue taking on these hard things and facing our problems, how does that equip them for the future? Do you see where we're going with that? That is so powerful. Can you boost your child's self-esteem? Well, we can certainly provide for them all of the opportunities and the resources to do exactly what's necessary to pull that off. Our parenting community here at Live on Purpose TV is growing and it's strong. Thank you for being a part of it. Share this with another parent that you care about.